So why hijab is making problems in the West? I come from an Arabic background. I spent most of my life between Saudi Arabia and Egypt, a little bit in Sudan as well. And for the last 10 years, I've been living in Europe, and now I'm in Croatia. And I would like to believe that I can see the big picture, and so I want to answer why hijab is making problems in the West. So I have a friend who converted to Islam. She was European, and she married a Muslim. She was living in the Arabic world for a while. Then she got pregnant. She didn't get along with her husband, so she came back to Europe, and she was wearing hijab. And as she started walking around the streets with the hijab, especially here in East Europe, it's not so common. So people started staring at her. She was finding it difficult to find a job because she's now a single mother. Bit by bit, she started reducing the hijab, so she just made it something that covered the hair. And she got a job, and then bit by bit, she just removed it because she wanted to blend in and to fit, and hijab made her stand out and looks different and weird. I was watching a lot of videos of women who are struggling with hijab in Europe or in the West in general. And there are a lot of stories that they share about how people discriminate against them because they are wearing hijab, and it is some kind of Islamophobia.
And he pointed to my headscarf, and he was making all sorts of hand movements and becoming very loud. And I was still calm. I was just trying to explain to him the situation. And he was just like, religion, we don't want that here. We don't want these religious shenanigans here.
To answer this question, why hijab is making problems in the West, I need to start from the Arabic world. I was lucky enough to witness the moment I saw hijab starting in Egypt. I was at the time at school, and I have a video I made, I think, about it, my story with hijab. We didn't have any girls at my school that were wearing hijab, especially in my class. And then by the end of the first secondary year, which is grade 10, we had one girl who started wearing hijab, and we were all surprised, what's going on. By the end of the year, we had three of my colleagues wearing hijab. After 2 years, when I went to third secondary school, more than half the class were wearing hijab. So I witnessed this moment when things were changing. So what is the situation now in the Arabic world? And I will speak about Egypt because, of course, Saudi Arabia, they have their own abaya. Everything in Saudi Arabia is so much controlled. So in Egypt, there is a bit of freedom. People can choose a bit for themselves. Of course, they are under also social pressure, but you can see the variety. So in Egypt, you can see now women or females who are not wearing hijab. There are others who are wearing hijab, maybe just to cover the hair. Others are wearing it a bit longer. Then there is khimar, which is even longer. And then there is niqab, where you cover also the face. But khimar and niqab are not that much popular or common. So when you look at it, you see variety of hijab. There is you can say it's a controversial topic because when someone wear hijab, or if a woman put on the hijab, everyone is congratulating her. Oh, it's amazing. So now you are one step in the right way. And if someone later on removed hijab, then especially if she's, for example, a public figure or an actress or something like that, then she will be very much attacked. What's wrong with you? Why did you do that? Why you removed hijab? We thought you were wise and you have faith. And so that's why it is not easy to remove hijab. I mean, you are congratulated when you wear it, and then you are demonized if you remove it. Also in the Arabic world, there are some people who believe that hijab is not obligatory. It is not the official voice. Like Azhar or other organizations. So that is the situation in the Arabic world. And I'm speaking specifically about Egypt because, as I said, you can see the variety, and people have a little bit of freedom to wear what they think they should. Although, like, if you go down in the social ladder and in the economical status, or when you go down, you find more social pressure to wear hijab. And as people are more rich, there is more individuality. You can take your own decisions and things like that. So why hijab is making problems in the West? So people in the Arabic world look up to the West. They see it. If you talk to anyone, it's like many people, they have a dream to live in America or in Europe, in the West, just to improve their life standards. They are looking for better financial situation. So you have this, like, everyone is dreaming of going to the West. You can even see in Egypt, for example, there are people who jump in the sea, Mediterranean Sea, just to cross to Italy. So there is this, and of course Europe and America, they are open to immigration and to refugees, so a lot of the people in the Arabic world moved to Europe. At the same time, people in the Arabic world, they also demonize the West because they don't agree with its values, they don't agree with this freedom that you can do whatever, drinking alcohol, which is something that is haram. People have sex before marriage, which also is haram, is not allowed. And so they see the West also as a sinful place, that they wish God burn it as soon as possible. So there is this contradicting feelings about the West, like, yeah, we want to go there because there are better opportunities and it's developed countries, but at the same time, we don't know why God is giving those people this high standard of development and living, and they think maybe God has some kind of hidden wisdom that they don't understand. So I remember, for example, when 9/11 happened, I was at the time, I was taking a scholarship, and I was going to courses, and I went to the course the next day, and I found one of my colleagues. He was a Salafi, or he was a strict Muslim, and he was wearing a t-shirt with Bin Laden on it, and he was so happy, celebrating the attack on the Twin Tower and the Pentagon and all that. I was like, that's a great hit, and other colleagues were also happy and rejoicing with him. And then one of them remembered that my brother is in America, and so they all looked at me and said, "Oh, Teresa, your brother is in America. Where?" I said, "In New York." And then it was just this moment that they were like, oh, like they didn't connect how that there could be Arabic people in those Twin Towers. Although they also don't care much because you can sacrifice some people for God, you know, it's not a big deal. So anyway, a lot of Arabs immigrated to the West, and now they are living this contradicting feelings between that they like how life is and the standard of life, but at the same time they worry about their children, that they will be affected by this monstrosity of sins that is going on with bars and the sex before marriage and all that. And I met a few of them who were thinking about how to solve this problem, and they were thinking like, where is there any Muslim country that we can go to that have the same high standards? Because maybe there are rich Arabic countries, but they don't give you, for example, citizenship. You can't be like one of them. So they don't have the benefits that you get in the West. So those Arabs are now in the West, and they want to practice their beliefs. They want to practice their way of living, especially the strict ones. So now back to why hijab is making problems. So hijab, when I think about it, it is a religious symbol. And it is a very obvious religious symbol. It's not hidden. It is not like something that you can put in your pocket that give you blessings, or something that you can hide as a necklace or so. No, it is something that everyone can see. And it reminds me of other religious groups, such as, for example, the Hasidic Jews or Krishna consciousness devotees. And I already made a documentary with the Krishna devotees in Hungary. So they have this clear religious outfit that scream, this is what I believe. And when I looked into those, for example, Krishna or Hasidic Jews, I found that they have their own communities, and they even have, at some extent, their own economy. So with the Krishna devotees, they had their own sustainable farm, they grow their own food, they try to be as independent from the society as possible. On the other hand, if someone is a strict Muslim and she is wearing hijab, she doesn't have her own isolated community like other religions, and she wants to do everything that any normal person in this society is doing. So for example, you can find a woman wearing hijab and she goes to the swimming pool and she wants to swim with her burkini, with everyone else wearing their swimming suits, or by breaking the rules of the swimming pool. When I look to, for example, Krishna devotees, I can never imagine such a situation that one Krishna devotee can go to a public swimming pool and say, hey, I'm going to go in with my outfit. Or and if you refuse, then you are discriminating against me. You have a Krishna phobia. And I heard some people defending hijab and saying in the West and saying that why you don't comment on nuns, for example? They have a big cross, they wear this outfit, and no one tell them anything, because those are nuns. They have their own community, and they don't just go out in the world. They want to, for example, apply for a job in a multinational company with their religious outfit, and if you say, sorry, we can't hire you because of the way you are dressed, then you are discriminating against Christianity or against me as a nun.
Sister, you look like you're ready for a day of fun. Thank you, I'm going to the beach. Oh, but they're not going to allow your outfit. Your headdress and your clothes won't be allowed. You have to wear a bathing suit. Oh no, it's okay, I'm a nun. Well, then why can't I go? I wear it for modesty. I do that too. Well, then I don't understand why. I know. It's because I'm a Muslim.
So yeah, that's the first reason I thought about, is that hijab is a religious symbol, and it is okay, you can have your religious symbol, no problem, but you also can learn from other communities like the Krishna devotees or the Hasidic Jewish, or even the nuns, because they also have their own places. The second reason why hijab is making problems in the West is because it's a symbol for modesty. And you may think, oh, modesty is great. It's very nice if a woman wants to dress in that way and look decent. And yes, it is, until you start comparing her to women who are not dressed that way, and you classify them as sinful or as women who are trying to seduce men. So it is not about the way you wear, but it's about the ideas behind it. And the ideas behind it is that you are not covered enough and you are seducing men, and that's how it is in Egypt. I have 2 videos on my Arabic channel about my sexual harassment stories in Egypt, and although I was like modestly dressed, but it is just how things are. Because let me say that men also are supposed to not look at women so they don't get seduced. But if a man did look, he's forgiven. And the blame is always on the woman, like why she's not covered enough. And I had many Arabic women in the West commenting on my Arabic videos saying that actually in the West there is a high rate of rape, more than the Arabic world, or sexual harassment in the West is more, which is not totally my experience. I lived in Egypt, I lived in Europe, and no, I can see the difference. When you are in Egypt, you are always aware that you are a female because everyone is staring at you, no matter how you are dressed. And I actually have a story, but I don't want this video to be so long, but I was working for a while in a lawyer office and when I was in Sharm el-Sheikh, and there was a British girl who came for a holiday, and she went to a nightclub, she got drunk, and she took a taxi home, but the taxi driver took her to the desert and he raped her. And luckily she was able to walk to the main road, and she reported what happened. The lawyer was supposed to defend her. So the lawyer just believed that she deserved to be raped because first she was drunk, secondly she was of course not dressed modestly, and it wasn't like he was because he was always sharing with me what was going on, how is the cases going, and it wasn't, he was always against her. He's supposed to be her lawyer, but he, as an Arabic man, he always believed that she deserved to be raped. And it wasn't until the moment he was faced with the man who did this, who raped her, the taxi driver. And then he came and he told me, "Oh, Teresa, I just met him today and he looks like a criminal." He said that even he was scared of him. So that was the moment when he just realized that, okay, this is a crime that happened and it is not related to how this girl was dressed or not. But I'm sure that he still didn't change his opinion, but it was just a moment for him of realization that this man is a criminal. So there is this defense like, no, there is a lot of rape in the Western world, not in the Arabic, more than in the Arabic countries. And the thing is that I don't know how those people are so sure, because in the Arabic world you can't even report all kind of like that was sexual harassment was just part of my daily life. So, and yeah, at the time I was like almost raped, and I shared it in the video. I didn't report anything. I didn't even tell my father because I knew that my father would blame me. Not because I wasn't wearing modestly or anything, but just I would just be blamed because I'm the female. Okay. So that's the second reason why hijab is problematic in the West, is because you are free to dress the way you want. If you want to dress modestly, you are welcome. If you want to cover any part of your body, you are free. But if this is going to compare you to someone else who's not doing that and put you in a higher place, that you are better than them, then this is of course a problem. Third reason why hijab is problematic in the West, I made a video about Andrew Tate, a short video just saying, commenting on how Andrew Tate thought that each man should marry 4 wives. And all Andrew Tate fans in the Arabic world who support him, no matter what he says, they were just commenting one repeated sentence: go wear your hijab. Go wear your hijab. Why you are speaking about Andrew Tate? Just go wear it. So I felt like go wear your hijab was used as shut up. So if hijab is going to be used as a way of silencing voices, then it is problematic. So I got to know that in America or in Canada, they have like a day where they encourage people to wear hijab as something like to don't be scared of hijab and Islamophobia, trying to reduce people's Islamophobia. Okay, so come try. It's a hijab day. Come wear your hijab. And the thing is, I found another video of women who are in America and Canada, and they tried to remove hijab. They are from Arabic families, and they had like traumatic experiences just because they thought of removing hijab. So I think you need to see both sides. Like, yeah, hijab is not scary. I have a lot of friends who are wearing hijab. It's not about the outfit of hijab, but it's about the ideas behind it. Or how it is being used. Like, how are you going to use this hijab? How do I see the future in the West? As now I see more and more Arabs going to the West and moving there and trying to change the rules and make it a place that they can live according to their own beliefs and principles. So I see two scenarios. The first scenario is that because Arabs they have a lot of children, and they are using the laws in the West which encourage people to have more children, because usually people in the West, they have just 1 or 2 children. So they have a lot of children, and that's why they populate a lot. There are now, when I was in Belgium, there are whole neighborhoods or areas that just for Arabs. And I was looking actually I was with my Belgian friend and in the bus, and I looked around and I was like talking to my friend who is a Belgian, a white European Belgian, and I was like, it seems to me you are the only one here who's a Belgian, because the rest of the bus was Chinese, Africans, Arabs, and which it's okay. I love different cultures. I'm someone who always try to connect cultures together. But the thing is, what ideas you are going to bring to your new society? So this is the first scenario, is that those ideas will spread more as they have more followers. Just the West will become another version of the Arabic world. The second scenario is hijab will continue in the West, but it will not have those ideas behind it. It will just become like a style. I want to wear my scarf here, I want to wear it here, but it will not have those meanings that if I'm wearing this scarf, then I'm better than you, or then you can't touch me, I'm modest, I'm protected, you can go and touch the one that is not covered enough. I think those are the two scenarios. If you have another third scenario, you can write it down in the comment and let me know. If you want to connect with me away from social media, you can subscribe to my newsletter. You can go to therezakhalil.com and write your email, and you will get a letter from me or a newsletter every month. So that's how I see why hijab is making problems in the West. As someone who's coming from the Arabic world, and religion is very important in the Arabic world, it was for me a new discovery to discover that there are a lot of other beliefs and religions. So now I'm on a journey to understand life, to solve its mystery and live it fully, which I will be sharing soon on a podcast that will be on this channel. But also my first documentary in the series, the Scrapbook of Life, is already released and you can watch it now. I will leave a link to it. And in this series, I'm meeting people from different beliefs and religions, and try to understand how this makes them live life the best possible way, because this is how I want to live my life. I'm a questioner, and I would like to understand life and see it from everyone's perspective and try to get the most out of it. So I will leave the link of the first documentary down in the description box.